Blackbird is a solo number featuring vocal, guitar, and an overdubbed bird chirping in the background. Completed in one day on June 11, 1968, this was one of many tracks to appear on the classic White Album. This tune uses fingerpicking and a fairly unique index finger strum to create its signature sound. I'll start out by giving you an example of the 3 types of ways to do this. In the first type, grab 2 notes with your thumb and middle finger and then pluck the open G string with your index finger, like this. The next type involves plucking 2 strings, again with a thumb and a middle finger, and then lightly strumming with the tip of your index finger, like this. These 2-beat rhythmic patterns are followed consistently throughout the song whenever the guitar is strummed with the index finger. The third type of pattern is a mixture of the first 2, which sounds like this. On the recording, either a foot taps or a metronome clicks along in the background. If you're tapping your foot to recreate this sound, it's helpful to note that on every beat, which is every time you tap your foot, you pluck with your thumb. Now that we have the patterns down, let's play through the intro and verse. 1, 2, 3. Here's the intro phrase. It begins by climbing in tenths from a root position G chord and then slides way up to the 10th fret. The first phrase of the verse is exactly the same as the intro phrase. The next phrase climbs in tenths up to the 7th fret and then starts to come back down. The next phrase continues walking down. And the next phrase continues walking all the way down to the open G chord we started on. The final phrase walks down from the 3rd fret a little quicker than the previous phrase. Now let's move on to the bridge and interlude. 1, 2, 3, 4. The bridge uses the same walking tenths and picking patterns as the intro and verse, The first phrase starts out up at the 8th fret, walking all the way down to the 1st fret and up to the 3rd fret like this. The second phrase is almost identical to the first, except that it continues walking down from the 1st fret to an open A7 chord instead of walking up to the 3rd fret as in the previous phrase. It then continues a little longer to set up the resolve to the interlude with a D minor 7 sus4 chord. The interlude takes the very first phrase of the piece and extends it, strumming the G chord up at the 10th fret for 3 whole measures. Notice how this is the only place in the piece where the thumb occasionally isn't used on the beat, instead strumming through some of the downbeats with your index finger. Here it is slowly.